Hey everybody, this is Matt coming to you from the international headquarters for Broke Rednecks in Spur, Texas. You're watching Broke Rednecks Prepping. What I want to talk to you a little bit about today is a follow-up video on one we did a couple weeks ago about different things to have for your prepper pantry. A lot of people don't think about. What this is about is different spices people have that are easy to overlook. Now, a lot of people are going to have big jugs of salt, and that's good. But remember, salt is not just for mixing into cakes or something like that. It's also something we're going to put it on to spice food. A lot of preppers tend to buy the same menu items to where they're planning on eating beans and rice for months at a time. After a while, it gets really boring and you want to spice it up. A lot of guys are also thinking of hunting. So you need something to spice things up. Now, what I decided I would do here, because salt can be used to cure meat and for a host of other things, but remember, when you're getting a big thing of salt, be sure to remember you're going to eat it too as a spice, and salt always goes great with pepper. Now, I'm kind of whiny about this. I don't like the pre-chopped up black pepper. I actually get the one with a little grinder on it, but you do you. But it will go well to spice up a lot of things, especially if you're eating the same type of wild game, or the same type of fish all the time. Being able to switch up spices are important. It's on the wild game idea, especially your more red-blooded things, your rabbits, or if you're going to go with something as big as deer, you're going to have a lot of stuff that's more like steak. So, I have a couple examples of steak seasoning. One is Tex Joy. It's stuff we've used for years. Not very expensive. You can get it at most grocery stores. The other is a maple barbecue rub. It goes great on chicken too. Anyway, if you're planning on hunting or doing some meat subsistence living, have a few things to spice that up. Now, for those of y'all who've seen me do my videos before, you know that I keep a lot of pasta in my pantry. If you have a garden and you have tomatoes, things like that, you're probably going to be making some of your own sauces. Get some garlic powder. I mean, who doesn't like garlic? Garlic goes with everything. And it's good. Now, for some of your stuff, beans, rice, that sort of thing, I'm going to recommend a couple others. One is this is Tony's. It's a Creole seasoning, kind of Cajun spices. Kind of perks things up a little bit. The other one is Slap Your Mama. Slap Yo Mama. Anyway, it goes great on literally everything. Like if you have a meal that just sucks and you're like, I don't want to eat it, throw some Slap Your Mama on, you will. Anyway, I picked these because they're not very expensive, but they can change up the way things taste. The other things to consider about your stuff that have salts in them is you got to figure what you're going to be drinking. Most people are assuming they're going to be drinking nothing but water for most of the time they're out there. After a while, water gets boring. If you've ever been camping for more than a weekend, 5, 6 days, 10 days, whatever in a row, where guys are drinking a lot of water, at some point they start drinking less of it because they just get bored with it. The one upside to having a little salt in your food is, and this is true with animals too, if you have horses, works great for them, put a little salt in people's food, they're going to drink more water. I mean, if you've ever been to a bar and seen the salty peanuts and pretzels, there's a reason for it. You drink more. Now, we do need sugars in our diet, and most people are going to have sugars for baking and that sort of thing. But it never hurts to have a box or two of Splenda or something like this around for people if they're eating too much in the way of sugars. And besides, it tends to flavor up some things. It goes great. Now, if you're going to have pasta, as I understand it, I know at least in Texas, it's illegal to have pasta without Parmesan cheese. I love Parmesan cheese. It preserves for quite a while, but a good prepper pantry is going to have Parmesan cheese. Just the way it is. So, think about spending a few bucks, get yourself some Parmesan cheese, have 8 or 10 cans of these things in your prepper cabinet. It's going to make anybody beside you, I mean, you're going to love it, but if you have kids or you have other people with you in your prepper group, Parmesan cheese also makes a good barter item because in a grid down situation, this becomes a delicacy real quick. Now, the same could also be said about syrup. Now, this is the cheap stuff, but maple or corn syrup, something that's sweet that goes good on pancakes or something else, tends to normalize things and makes people want to eat it more. It's also a quick jolt of sugar. You don't think about it, but when you're in a situation where you're having to subsistence eat, the things that we overlook, like fruits and berries and vegetables, all of a sudden become really valuable in our system. And during the Great Depression, people would actually take maple syrup and put it on their food. And just because it was quick calories, that's something to consider. If you're having to ration food for some reason, the quick calories from something like maple syrup go a long way. Anyway, there are a host of others we could probably pick. I'd like to know what some of you guys think. But if you have any comments, please feel free. I'm open to hearing new things. But this is just a few ideas of what I think people are overlooking for their prepper cabinet that you should probably have in. So we'll see you next time. Be sure to like and subscribe.